All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for AI Odyssey, Increasing Productivity with AI. This is the fourth in the series of 5 workshops we will be doing relating to artificial intelligence. I'd like to begin by thanking the Peninsula Endowment Foundation, who has graciously funded this event. So thank you very much. I would like to let everyone know that this meeting will be available on our YouTube channel for those who aren't able to watch it live. So to begin, I'd like to start with talking a little bit about what we've done so far. So we began this series by talking about the history and the origins of artificial intelligence and robotics and things of that nature. Then we moved on to talk about apps that we can use that utilize artificial intelligence and that most of us already use to some degree or another. Then we talked about learning, so different strategies for learning and using artificial intelligence as a tutor and using it to learn skills that otherwise might have required reading a book and might have required a lot more time researching. But using artificial intelligence has made that a lot simpler. And now we're going to talk about productivity. So we're going to talk about using artificial intelligence in the workplace. Artificial intelligence, specifically talking about language models, is a very powerful tool that can be used in the workplace to increase efficiency. So it can help in making it so that we can spend less time doing things that in the past would have been a lot longer. So there's a lot of tools out there that we can use, such as Copilot, such as ChatGPT, Jemenai, things like that, that we can use to help with drafting emails or help with ideas, help with doing research. There's a lot that we can now do with artificial intelligence that is helping in leveling the playing field and making it so that we're able to access the digital world quicker and easier, and making it so that we can access information that may have been more difficult or even impossible to access in the past. So that is our topic today. We have we have two presenters today. We have Sun and we have Tuli that will be joining us from. They'll be joining us from virtually to speak on these topics, and they're joining from the East Coast. So they'll thank you for joining us, even though it's a little later for you. So, and they will both be talking about prompt engineering and using different tools to increase productivity in the workplace. So I'd like to, before we go into the demos and before we go into the conversations, I'd like to just say that a lot of the tools that we are going to be talking about today are using features that are fairly new, and as it goes with artificial intelligence, given that it's such a new, these language models are all new. It's been a couple of years since this all got started. There will be tools coming up in the future, often in the very near future, that we aren't talking about now, but will be incredibly useful. So one of the things I like to say is these tools are amazing, but right now we're at a point where everything is changing quickly, and every technology right now, the artificial intelligence is it's the worst it's ever going to be. So it's not going to get any worse than this, and it is so powerful as it is right now. So it is both fascinating and scary, and we will be talking about all of the different pros and cons, what to do, what not to do with it. So to get us all started with our first presentation, I'd like to invite Sun to get started with his portion of the presentation. Sun?
Thank you. Thanks, Fernando, and thanks to Lighthouse for this opportunity and the Peninsula for the making this happen. I'd like to get started definitely with prompting and what that is, what that fully means, and how we can best use it to get exactly what we're looking for. And in a nutshell, prompting is to to make a request to issue something that we want. And then whether we get what we want is the whether we prompt it with quality or not. So let's see here. If if we went to a pizza parlor and we went up to a counter and said we wanted to order a pizza, that's an initial prompt. What likely will happen is the person on the other side of that counter will ask us what type of pizza, what should be on it, and how it should be baked. And that's normally the human interaction of prompt and then bounce back prompt and pre-prompt and post-prompt, if you will. But that's a back and forth interaction. Until we have agents that do that, and that is coming, we want to look at a prompt in that detail and not assume that the large language model, be it ChatGPT or be it Google Gemini, if we're working with that, we don't want to assume that they know what we want. Now imagine a scenario if we had asked a friend to get us a pizza and we were in a hurry, we just scribbled on paper or something, please pick up a pizza for lunch. And hopefully the friend still remembers what we like, or we might have a different taste today. We might want a different topping, something, we weren't curious about, but we didn't put it down. So what likely will happen is you'll probably get the pizza the normal if it's a long-term friend and the friend knows what you like, or it'll be something akin to what they like in the hopes that you like it as well. But if we had prompted with those details, as in the first scenario, where the person at the other side of the counter would ask what type, what size, all that, then we will have the pizza that we prompted for. So a prompt is instruction sets to get what we want from the large language model. Now, that includes text, images, videos. Um, and so let's talk about breaking down the prompt and what we want in this prompt to make sure we s- achieve two things. Number one, saving time, because we don't want to keep prompting it over and over and over again to try and get what we want. Or even worse, some might believe the first time is the answer they'll get, and that is furthest from the truth. And I'll go further into that in a bit. So the parts of a prompt, there's a pre-prompt that happens before the actual prompt. And then any post prompt is the cleaning up um, of the results if there's needed. So let's talk about the pre-prompt. In a pre-prompt, we want to direct the large language model. Let's say we're working with ChatGPT. In the dialog box, um, we want to what we call custom instructions if you create a GPT there. Caveat, if you subscribe and create a chat GPT, you can put custom instructions. But if you don't have that, you can do this in a normal one as well. You just have to make your prompt longer. So in the first part of your prompt, you want to describe the uh, the type of response you want. So let me get an example. Let's say you want the LLM to behave like a math tutor, okay? And you have a problem you need to solve. So you want to first tell it you are the greatest mathematician. Yeah, the more flattery, the better. I don't know why, it just works. So you tell it what it is, what it can do, the greatest, the best, the super, all of those words of what it is. In this case, a mathematician. And also, you want to say your response, you will make it clear, you will make it easy to understand, sixth grade, seventh grade level, what have you. And all that is to tell the model how to deliver your prompt. What is it that you would like? Like basically what kind of setting, the platter, the packaging. Furthermore, you want to also, if you want to add characteristics to the large language model, which is helps it to respond the way you like it. Humorous, serious, um, funny, satire, what have you. So you add that all into the pre-prompt to get what you want. Now you ask for the prompt. So in this case, mathematics, please solve this formula. And you can also say, um, I need it in whatever format, and I would like it, um, however style. Now, all that could go in the pre-prompt, but you really want an actual result. So that's where you would put the prompt, the actual request, the result that you want. Pre-prompt is only reserved for the soft characteristics, if you will, the that doesn't necessarily fit into the prompt, won't necessarily be directly helping your answer, but it significantly does boost it in the background. So once you get that, however way it responds, let's say it responded in metrics instead of inches, or let's say it responded in um, integers and you want it in binary, what have you. Um, you can specify that. So once it output that, then you can do any cleanup. That's when you specify what way you want the prompt to be. Let's do some real quick scenario about something realistic, such as a document, a report. If you're doing research and you want to prompt it, it would be advantageous to pre-prompt if you have a big project that you want look to research. The pre-prompt, you would say something like you'd give it the background, what era, what time frame, what is the subject in terms of is it the history of America or is it what's beneath the Antarctic ice? However, thing you need to put into the background so that it knows how to generate the content that you want. And then um, you would add in the prompt with the details, and then you would finalize that at the end if the report comes out slightly less than what you expect. Now, all that being said, you can have the large language model, LLM, create a prompt for you. And I do use this at times. I use this more often than not, simply because um, having it write out the prompt, then you can fill in any empty spots that it may not have included, is a whole lot more faster and efficient than actually typing out all of the prompts. So for example, you might want to say, I am doing a research project, and can you craft me a prompt that will generate or cause the AI to generate um, a report of X amount of pages. And here you would specify an outline, or you would ask it, I'm not sure what all goes into here quite, but I know I want this result, and you would lay it down. Then you would have the AI then craft that prompt for you. Now, the reason why I went over the manual way first is you have to still review your prompts, the prompt that it produced for you. You don't want to assume that that's going to be the prompt. You never want to do that. And then that moves into the one of my final points, and that's a concept called shots. Now, what is a shot? A shot is an attempt. Whenever you put in a prompt, your first prompt, and then you hit enter or you click on that send or submit, that's called a shot. That is a zero shot in the terms of AI prompting. And a zero shot just simply means computers count by zero. We humans count with one. So for us, that would be our first shot. To the computer, that's a zero shot prompt. If you got what you wanted, if the output is exactly what you wanted, then that would be said to have succeeded in zero shots. So your prompt would have gotten your result in zero shots. So when you hear someone says, it took me 5, 10, 15 shots, that simply means that they prompted that many times in that many iterations to get precisely what they want. Now, certain models are going to do a lot better with prompting simply because they're either larger, and a rule of thumb, you don't necessarily need to know this unless you're going to go into local models, but a rule of thumb is whenever you see a number, a billion means a gigabyte. So 12 billion, 27 billion, 671 billion, that is DeepSeek R1 largest model, means it takes 671 gigs of video RAM to run that model locally. So it's for those that are technical. But so in closing, prompting, we want to look at a prompt as though it is an instruction set. We want to make it clear. We want the prompt to be specific if we want the result to be the outcome that we desire. So the way I like to look at it is working backwards. What is it that we want to happen? Do we want imagine how the report, if it were in front of you, what would it be like? How many pages? What sections? If it's code, if it's a game, if it's a program, if it's a website, um, what have you. What is the overall outcome that we want? And then working from that, we can then describe better what we want. Use the LLM to generate your prompt, review that prompt. Is it missing anything? If it is, ask it to expand, ask it to add functionalities, and don't be afraid to describe what is it that you want done, happen, or printed. All right. So I hope that's definitely will get you on your way to doing great prompting. Let me do real quick a demonstration here. I would love to see if I can to have a few minutes, I think, just for one. Okay, let's do share. Okay, let me slow down the share screen.
Comma selected. Screen sharing meeting controls. You have started screen share. Comma press F6 to switch.
Okay, so real
Search box
quick,
G-O. Google Chrome.
we're
Partic go.
gonna
Enter.
go
Address and
to
search bar edit. AI. Studio.
one of my
I
favorite
enter.
platforms, though you can do it on ChatGPT It's you just have to do it in the same prompt. But
Virtual PC.
I'm going to aistudios.google.com, a wonderful platform for generating
Main.
output.
Type something, edit, blank. Insert assets such as images, comma, run leftward 0.
Okay. So if you were to use this platform to generate something large, here
Type
I'm
something,
just
edit,
going to
blank.
make it really simple. You can experiment
Gemini
later.
2.5 Pro experimental 0.
The latest models, 2.5 Pro
some
Gemini,
space.
but let's go ahead and do an example of a simple prompt
I-A-N-T 1.
to
O2. O-R-D-E-R-A. P-I-Z-Z-A. Pizza, period.
pizza. Okay.
Virtual run leftward expander, collect, run
And we're
leftward, enter,
gonna
create
run.
prompt, vertical bar, Google AI Studio, run leftward 0.
I just put simply I want to order a pizza. And so
Grabbing the top, type some 6 point expand to view model 7.0, let's press space.
on AI Studios, it tells you actually how long it's taking to produce
Expand 1 4.0, let's press space.
the output here.
Type 1 7.0, let's press.
17
Oh, definitely help you
seconds.
figure.
Okay.
Type something. 1 9.2, let's press. Type 1 9.2, let's press.
And so here we go.
Bad response button. Good response. Open options but rerun. Open OK, comma. Sounds delicious. Exclaim. While I can apostrophe T actually place the order for you. Left parent I don apostrophe T have access to ordering systems, comma. Your location, comma. Or payment info. Right parent, comma. I can definitely help you figure out what you want and how to get it. Exclaim.
See? It doesn't know what I want. I just simply put it out there, and it now is trying to narrow down itself, because if it were just to try and get a pizza for me, it'll just randomly get something if I forced it to.
To help you get started, comma. List of free item 1 period. Do you have a specific pizza place? 2 period.
See?
What kind of pizza are you craving? Question. Left parent any particular toppings, comma. Crust type, comma. Or style question. Right 3 period. Where are you located? Left parent city or neighborhood is fine, right?
See? So
Type something, edit, blank. Type something, edit, blank. Space. Pizza ordering help for.
Done.
yes.
Could you slow down your speech a little bit?
Oh, I thought that was slow.
Slower.
Okay.
Slower. Pizza ordering help vertical bar Google AI Studio dash Google Chrome dash Sun.
Okay.
Perfect.
That should be all
Virtual
right. So
type something, edit, blank. Type something.
I'd like to order a pizza.
From
It
Miguel
gave a
19.
whole bunch of questions that it
Soup, one
needs
list
to
of free-
know. Now that's a really poor instruction set. But let's just
Type
say
something, edit, blank, space.
we type
FF blank.
in another prompt, but maybe not as good. I want
O2 from Miguel
to
B.
buy a
P-I-I-E-O-M-P-E-R.
computer
Computer. L-R-O-S-A-O-L. School, period.
right?
B.
Now
B. Period. Blank. Space.
I don't know much about computers, but I need to get through college.
Period.
Let's just
Virtual
say,
PC.
okay?
Main expand run leftwards
I'm
enter
gonna
run
click
button
run.
leftward 0 with wrapping the
What is it going to say?
type 4.9s press space for more information period. 7.9s press space for more.
Okay, it's gonna take a minute here.
9.9
And
pizza ordering help vertical bar Google AI Studio document.
I like
Fail.
Google because it does let you know. Otherwise, on ChatGPT,
Type
it definitely does keep repeating that it's working, but you don't know.
Type something. 1.4.2s press space 1.4.2.
Okay, so here.
Bad or good response. Open up. Okay, comma. Add apostrophe is a really common situation, comma. And definitely something I can help you think through. Exclaim. Getting the right computer for college is important, comma. And Kanye doesn't apostrophe T have to be super complicated, period.
It doesn't have to be super complicated.
Kanye
So
2 put in waiting room. Since you apostrophe renew this, comma, let apostrophe s focus on what you need the computer to do, comma, rather than getting bogged down in technical specs right away, period. Kanye 2 has left the waiting room for this meeting.
So because
Kanye 2 has joined the meeting.
Because it's so still vague, it's going to try to help me. Otherwise, it doesn't know what I want. So let's put into practice here. Let me show you a pre-prompt.
Type 1 for bad response, good response, but let apostrophe open options button menu, good response, but bad response button.
Let me do a pre-prompt.
Type something, edit,
here.
blank. Scott Blanks has left the meeting. Run leftward 0, expand, insert as bad response, good response, open options button menu collapsed. Rerun this turn, rerun, open up, rerun this. Skip to make a disclaimer, press Google account, expand, open expand or collapse navigation, enter, pizza ordering, main, open. JAWS find die CSO custom enter to activate game open navigation menu button combo box collapsed control A I enter create prompt vertical.
There we go.
Then
we're gonna do custom.
Tie widget trip heading level 1 at apostrophe S time to collapse all system instructions button enter create prompt.
All right. So in AI Studio, Google Studio, there's this custom instructions.
System edit placeholder optional tone system instruction edit space.
And this is where you would put the pre-prompt. And I'm just gonna go and say
Why you
know
you know
that
you know that you know spam you know that I am blank space
am a
you
Windows
know the
user.
user period space you know like you know
Fast system,
system space system
and I
love
love
system
to
and I love to
run local
system
models.
models period system space
I need
system and I
one that will
one that you run one that will run
at least
one that will space one that will 2 4 1 B 124
A24B
B 1 that P R A 1 F T R F D L model period one that will run at
Okay.
least virtual 3 shots
Now,
to the left main
I gave it some
grabbing the
instructions.
top system instructions
Basically, it just says, you know that I am a Windows user, and
type something
basically
system
gave it
instruct
some
space
background
system
about me.
one that will run at least
Pretty much a AI enthusiast and some specs. So
virtual
with that,
region
I'm gonna see here.
type something edit blank space
I need to get a new computer.
computer I need to get a new need to get a GETA space ATA space
Get a
virtual
new computer. Okay, so
run leftward 0 with
let's see with that pre-prompt and me just putting something a little more generic,
enter
what it can come up with.
wrapping to bottom type something type some 5.9 s press space for type 8.9 s press space for
Okay,
types 1 2.9 s press
and it's counting 16, 17, 18. All right, so it looks like it's about done now.
expand to view
Let's
model
see what
thoughts star the thoughts produced by the model are separate expand 1 9.5 open up open options button open up thoughts star the thoughts produced by the model are experimental button collapsed space
open.
thoughts here apostrophe s a thinking process that leads to the comprehensive computer recommendation for running local LLMs colon here apostrophe s a thinking process
See?
list of 8 item 1 period the construct the user apostrophe s request colon list of hollow round bullet user colon quote I need to get a new hollow round bullet context colon quote you know that I am a Windows user period quote left parent
And
operating
it
system
brings my context from the pre-prompt into its thinking. And then it will give me essentially eventually what I want.
hollow round bullet
So it'll narrow down the recommendations so that it can better customize its service for me. So there you are in terms of prompting. The keys takeaway is basically to be specific, to be clear, to know that what you want before you ask for it. Even if you're not so clear, you can then give it directions. You'd have to be more patient and drive it to help it produce the answer or the result that you want. The key takeaway also is, again, being patient. And don't be afraid to prompt more than 3 or 4 times to get what you want. Okay, Fernando, I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you, son. Your screen share is still on, by the
Okay,
way.
let me go ahead.
New
Sorry
computer
about
spec
that.
create prompt vertical bar Google start reading and fact screen sharing meeting control S.
All right.
All right. Thank you, son. That was an amazing presentation, and it really took us through kind of a very amazing way to imagine or to think about prompting. So, I like to say that the large language models, or let's just call them language models, which is really what ChatGPT and Copilot and all of these AI tools, that's what they are. They are really good at understanding natural human speech, right? But that means that sometimes they think they understand us and they don't. So being very clear, being very specific, giving them an assignment is really good, right? So that pre-prompt where where you tell them what they're going to do. You don't need to ask it what to do. No, you can just tell it, you are this. And telling it, giving it parameters is very important. It's going to really improve the quality of the result that you get. And it may mean you need to prompt it less times, right? Which is, what we're talking about is increasing productivity. So if if it means we have to prompt it 16 times, well, then we're not really increasing productivity, right? So we want to be smart with our prompts. We want to give it a prompt that basically guarantees that we'll get the result that we want in as little prompts as possible. So that was a wonderful presentation, and I like the analogy of the pizza. So what we're going to do now is we're going to open it up for Q&A for a few minutes. Any of you in the room or any of you on Zoom who have any questions, we'll take some questions, and Sun will be here to help answer some of them,
Yes.
and those of us here in the room will as well. So let's start on Zoom. Does anyone have any questions on Zoom? So we'll do one Zoom, one here in the room.
Fernando, this is Hobie Wedler calling in on Zoom, and one of the comments that I just think is so crucial here with prompt design is it saves us so much time if we get good at it and we get the right prompts. It's just like being an efficient cane or dog user versus, when we're still learning. When you get that efficiency down, and I think we're all still learning in a way, it really brings everything to fruition. What I'll say is that I'm a totally blind chemist. And for me, doing research and getting prompt designs right, and basically utilizing a lot of what Sun just talked about, plus some nuanced scientific approaches, it's incredible. I would say probably 50 to 100-fold time and money that I save without having to work with assistants. So that's just to show you a real life example of how AI is truly leveling the playing field for us as blind and low vision folks. It's incredible.
Yes, thank you.
That's right. Thanks, Hobie. We're going to, before we go to the question in the room, any questions in the room, there was a question in the chat, and it was, why is it that, and I'm paraphrasing here, why is it that it's harder now to get good AI responses from Amazon and Google? And I don't know. I mean, what I could say to that, and Sun, if you have any input on that, you can let us know as well. But it's either one of a couple of things, right? So we have access to these tools that are really good at giving us responses that are satisfactory, like Gemini, ChatGPT, Copilot, all of that. So then when we go to one of these older virtual assistants like Amazon products or Google products that use the smart assistants, the results often aren't to our standard anymore. So there's that. Also, there's these services keep adding and removing features as time passes. And so maybe a feature that used to be there, such as language translation, for example, or simultaneous, or translation, in simultaneous translation may have been available at one point, but now isn't, or vice versa. So features keep coming and going. So I don't know that it's harder to get good results from. It's just that now we have access to services that give us more satisfactory answers. So we kind of think that the answers in these apps and stuff like the Google products or the Amazon products are not as satisfactory anymore. And eventually what's going to end up happening is they're going to start using language models as well with time to answer some of these questions in the more human-like way that we're expecting now from such services.
Yeah, and I'll add on to that. Oh, sorry, real quick.
I'm Sheila, and I'm the one that asked the question, and I can give a couple of examples. One example was that I said, give me the address of the Kaiser Hospital in San Leandro. And I was using an Amazon device for this one, and it gave me two different names for it, and I couldn't figure out if they were the same address or not, because they rattle it off real fast. But I just felt like I was dealing with a 3-year-old, where I had to just like fight and fight and fight just to get what I thought was a pretty simple thing. I think there's only one hospital for Kaiser and San Leandro. Anyway, the other one was I used Google for this one. It was a um oh shoot. It was just today or yesterday too. It was um I don't remember now. It was just something where I was um how, should I do this or should I do that in order to get this to work? That sort of thing. And it just was not very uh the responses were not very good.
Hey,
So,
And
Sen,
I was
what would your
I was
thoughts on that be?
yeah, so let me go ahead and cover that. There's two different technology, as Fernando was mentioning earlier. There's actually two that we're dealing with. The older one is pattern matching, and that's what Amazon Alexa is with at the moment, by and large, and even Google Assistants, and that I'm pretty sure that's what you probably had experienced. And pattern matching is really tough. It's a form of AI, but it's fixed. And if it's not updated, then it won't find, or it'll be confused, or it's very prone to human mistakes, because it's truly data in, data out, which means if someone put in accurate data, then it will produce accurate output, give you the accurate answer. But if not, or someone went on in there and try to fix it but didn't delete the old, and yeah, it'll definitely give you what is there. Whereas this is, without going into too technical, it's transformer um, tokens predicting. So basically, it's taking what you have put in, and it converts into something called tokens, just for the term there. And it takes these tokens, and one token can be about 4 letters or so long, and it breaks up all your requests, and then it tries to guess the best probability of what you want in return. Yes, it's really guessing token by token what the answer should be. And this is why prompting zero shot is so rare, because it's literally probabilistically guessing every single other phrase, or to try and make sure and string it together in a proper sentence in a cohesive, logical, understandable content that humans can read and say, oh, okay, that makes sense. And it has to do that, and that's called a transformer. Now, Amazon is working with Claude, from what I understand. Soon we'll have that, but I think they said they'll be putting it on the show um, lineups. So if you had have a show account, or even TV, Amazon, you can connect it to Amazon TV, and then you can use Claude. Now you'd have to have a Prime account or subscribe something like 19 or $20 a month. But it uses Claude, and Claude Anthropic, the company, is a large language model. It's among the top, actually, in terms of human understandable or human accepted output. Now, let me touch on that here, which I didn't get to cover, is ethics. Um, when you're producing content on a website or whatnot, or if you're doing it for publishing, if it is intended to be copyrighted, AI, I believe National Library of Congress has says that AI content produced cannot be copyrighted. So there's that to consider. Um, but if if you are putting out AI, and be very careful if you're trying to do real world stuff. I've literally have heard of lawyers trying to get ChatGPT output and then using it as in an existing case, but it was not. It was a hallucinated case. So definitely check its answers because it literally is guessing what you're trying to ask. Even if it doesn't know the answer, it literally will make something up. So be very aware of that.
Thank you, Sam. So at this point, we'd like to see if anyone has any questions in the room. So we're going to take one question from the room, and then we're going to move on to our next presenter. Anyone here in the room does anyone have any questions? Yep, yell if you have a question.
I do have a question.
Catherine has a question. I'll be coming to you with the microphone. Test. Here we go. Are you?
Right here.
There you are.
Thank you. In the workplace, you could really use, if you became very good at prompting, you could use it to write amazing statistical reports, like demographic reports. You could prompt it to, like, say that you wanted demographics for your whole county on a particular subject and be very specific with your pre-prompting. You could have it generate an amazing set of reports for you. It's just amazing practice over time. You'd have to become very good at being very specific in a short amount of time. My question is, you know, are there resources, are there things that can help you become a better prompter other than just practicing over time and learning from trial and error?
So do you want to take?
Definitely there is a company, I think a nonprofit called prompt.org. Someone tried to get me to that. The way I learned myself is in the trenches. I've been working with large language models since 2022, the 3.0 and on up, and along with taking it local on the computer. So I'm not I'm there with my information and my data. But to learn more, it's Hugging Face is definitely a good resource. I use Hugging Face a lot if you want to learn and get resources of prompting. And it teaches you how to play with the large language models there as well for local use. Google, Coursera has also a really good prompt engineering beginners course. I understand that there was one that was free. So that's a really good course there. And we at Coach GPT here, we definitely can more than willing to guide employees or former employees onto becoming a solopreneur through use of prompting.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you for that. Was an amazing question. Let's take the mic from you. All right. So with that, we're going to move on to our second presenter, Tuli. Tuli, would you like to take the mic?
Yes, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right. So that was an information full session on prompt engineering and prompt design, as well as some really insightful questions and commentary on the subject. Definitely helps to set the foundation here for where it is that I'm going to pick up. So we know that you've got your basic fundamental keys for what makes a great prompt and some ideas about how to organize that. But what I'm hoping here is to show you what that's like putting some of that into action. Good afternoon, evening, everyone. My name is Tuli Lomax, and I have a background in teaching assistive technology as well as working as an independent living instructor. I consider myself a pioneer of AI. I've been using some of the more modern AI tools, like just to begin with OpenAI, which is ChatGPT, since it became available for public use. And ever since then, I've been tinkering away, learning about how AI can make my life not only easier and faster, but honestly more accessible. Over the past couple of years, I've been able to do some things with AI that honestly, previous times, I can say that with my vision, it would have been more difficult or certainly time consuming for me to achieve, or even at times, honestly, just downright impossible. Until now, because we have this new onset and ever immersion now of AI technology. So now that we're starting to begin here, just want to toss something out there. I feel like a good majority, some of us have heard the phrase before, the magic's in the makeup, right? So my take on this when it comes to AI is the magic is with the muscle. So if the magic is AI, you know, what's this magic, this woo-woo stuff and AI? If that's magic, the muscle is our mind. And so when we combine those two things together, we can get some of the best outputs from AI. And as we've been discussing so far this evening, one of the best ways that we can do that is by utilizing some great prompt engineering. I am going to pick up with discussing and demoing some prompts using Google Gemini. And Google Gemini, or just Google AI tools in general, are another set of AI tools for any consumer available for us to use. It's just simply another option on the market. And recently, they've made a lot of new developments, which I've been testing and experimenting with lately. So I'm going to be demoing prompting while also using Google Gemini tools. Okay. Okay, so just, we've been talking a lot about designing, prompting, and I want to say that if prompting is like our imagination station, this is where like all the thinking in the lab is happening right here, right now in the moment is where we're prompting. Then the result that AI produces is what we actually were able to make happen. Like, what did we accomplish here? So the prompting is the imagination that we put together with AI and our mind, and we're producing a result here. So I'd like to show you all and some examples of how Gemini can help us tackle some real life dilemmas using some of these tools available here. This is the part of the session for all of us who have sometimes felt a little bit overwhelmed with our work, or even with day-to-day life, or with organization, or processing of information, or individuals who might be looking for more practical solutions to some of life's dilemmas. This is for you and me. So I'm going to run 3 demos here that will show how we can get the job done reliably and also fast. So prior to me showing up to tonight's workshop, I did a little bit of homework so that I can be prepared for everyone. And I designed a couple of what I like to refer to as template prompts. So these are prompts that are very in-depth, detail-oriented prompts that are organized in a way where it's kind of like a form and you fill in the blank. I call them a template because they are designed to be used and reused time and time again. You can alter or adjust them to suit any need you might have, any situation, pending what the prompt is. And if there's anything within the prompt that might need a little bit of tweaking or something that you might want to add or subtract, you can feel free to do so. Previously, I heard a question about someone asking resources for learning about prompting and also just how to become a better prompter. And another answer for that is prompt libraries. What I've been doing over the years is, in a way, building my own prompt library based off of prompts that I've designed myself, and also prompts that I borrowed or have been shared with me, or honestly for anyone in the public, and just incorporating them into my own prompts. So it's the same kind of concept here. By having this prompt template, I am minimizing the amount of time, work that I'm putting in to getting the overall result. The time mostly spent will be in filling out the prompt. Then once I have the prompt filled out to my liking and I go ahead and run it, I get results in seconds, or depending on, what we're putting in, the quantity, even minutes, but still, that is minuscule comparatively to what the whole entire process could take without this step. These are the good shortcuts. Okay, so moving forward, the first demo that I'd like to share with you all, I'm calling Chaos to Clarity. This is for all of our project managers out there, or anybody who manages projects or people. This is also not exclusive to the workplace. This is home life too, anything possible. In the scenario that I have kind of devised for the prompts purposes, I have a team at work who meets on a weekly basis. There's a project manager, a developer, a social media specialist, and everybody gets together and they give their updates and they plan and so on and so forth. And the project manager is feeling a little overwhelmed because they need to be able to take in all of this information and updates, but they're finding that it's such a consuming process to get everybody together at the meeting and then take the notes and then process the notes and organize all themselves. So they are consulting AI with their dilemma and asking AI to produce for them an organized report that will detail the ways in which AI can be used to streamline this particular process. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. Okay, so participants can see my screen. Can I just get some confirmation? Are we hearing my jaws? I mean,
We cannot hear your jaws.
Oh, sorry, I'm using NVDA. Okay, let's see what I've got going on here.
Yeah, screen reader is not coming through.
Yeah, one sec.
So when you started the screen share, did you check the box that said share sound?
I did.
Ooh. Yeah, so if you'd like, you can go with it the way it is and just kind of explain what you're doing and walk through the prompt.
I know actually. Okay, let's see.
Or you could retry the screen share and see if it works.
It's only because the option for like screen now, but I did that box. Okay. All right. Aside from this though, honestly, because these are prompts that I did create for this workshop, they are shareable and I am willing to share the prompts that I have and to make them available to anyone if they would like to use them.
Why don't you go ahead and just walk through the process and just verbalize what you're doing as you're doing. I think that'll go fine.
Okay, so what I have here is a prompt that I created to resolve the scenario that I stated before with the team and they're working together. So initially the prompt starts off with first directing Jemenai and letting Jemenai know who they are. In this case, they are a project management specialist with over 15 years of experience and they are highly rated. You know, that we're going with the flattery so that they know who they are. Then after that, I'm outlining the mission of the prompt, which is to take the scenario, provide solutions, and to organize them into a nice and easy document here, which we can either save or move anywhere that we would like to do. The prompt also goes over various details about this scenario, team members, any difficulties, what improvements the project manager thinks they would like to make, just as thorough as can be. And it's all meant to be filled in. So that's what I have here. So I'm going to go ahead and select all of it and copy it and bring it over to Google Gemini.
I'm just curious, this NVDA should work through Zoom, right?
It should.
Or
Yes,
do we
if
have
you
to use
check the
Joe?
box that says you want the sound.
I
But
did
now
initially
Zoom's
test.
made it harder where what kind of sound and which windows
Tell
and
him to mute that.
which way do you want the windows?
So Tuli, for me, it sounds like what you've got lined out is basically kind of using AI to help project management and support that process. Is that an accurate assessment?
Uh-oh,
Oh,
did she just drop off?
we lost her, yeah. Close friends. Tuli, you should be good to go again.
Okay, I'm unmuted, and can you see me?
Yeah, and we can hear you too.
Okay. All right.
I don't think she heard your question.
Hey,
Are you proceeding with the demo?
Screen sharing meeting controls window. You have started screen share. Press F6 to switch
There you
between
go.
open Zoom windows alert. Screen sharing meeting controls window. Participants can now see your screen alert.
All right.
Zoom Workplace row 1 column 2. Launch meeting. Untitled. Message. Gemini workshop prompt.text. Gemini workshop prompt.text. Notepad. Font grouping collapsed.
All righty.
Zoom Workplace window. Zoom Workplace. Screen sharing meeting control. Launch meeting. Untitled. Message. Inbox. Team building. Gemini. Google. Miscellaneous. Miscellaneous. Gemini generated image art. Gemini workshop prompt.text checked 9 of 35. Notepad. Gemini workshop prompt.text.
Okay, so here is the prompt that I created. I'll just kind of run through it a little bit so you can hear what I've got going on with this.
Spelling error task or process in providing actionable.
Oh,
Jamie
also,
Gump.
if you happen to hear the word like asterisks or stars mentioned in the prompt, they are there intentionally. The asterisks help AI to direct it to what's important, how to focus on it, and it just organizes it in a way that is easy for AI to read. So if you're hearing that, don't be confused. We're just going for the words here.
Blank. Star users situation. Star. ** user's situation, ** spelling error, ** title of the document, ** streamlining weekly campaign updates for the Sunrise Initiative, describe the specific workplace task or process you want to analyze, ** managing weekly progress updates for the Sunrise marketing campaign, which involves a small team of 5 people, a content writer, social media manager, graphic designer, marketing analyst, and myself as the campaign lead. Currently, we hold a 1-hour video call sync each Friday where everyone verbally shares updates on their deliverables. I then manually type up summary notes and action items into a shared Google Doc, which usually takes another 30 to 45 minutes. ** What are the current challenges or pain points you experience with this task/process? ** Time consuming, both meeting time and my note compiling time. * Verbal updates can be inconsistent or lack specific metrics/links needed later. * Hard to track action items effectively from the notes document alone. * Sometimes difficult to ensure everyone remembers their key updates for the meeting.
Right. So you hear the dilemmas go on, and essentially the prompt that I designed is taking us through all of the details of what is happening in the scenario, what are the important pieces, who are the key players, and the solution that we're looking for. And also, this prompt actually is designed to have all of the information presented in an easy to read document. So what I'm going to do here is highlight all of this text and give it a good old copy so we can paste it into Gemini and then run this prompt and see what happens.
Quick settings. Gemini Workshop prompt.txt, Notepad. Text editor document * meeting can sometimes derail into broad brainstorming. 5000. Miscellaneous. Zoom Workplace. Screen sharing meeting control. Launch meeting. Untitled. Message. Inbox. Team building. Infographic to Google. Gemini. Google Chrome column 39. Gemini. Google Chrome window.
Okay, so here we are at Gemini. When I launch Gemini, immediately we hear that it's putting me directly in the text field, which is the place where I can put a prompt. I'm going to skip past this only because I am looking for the button to activate the Google Gemini tool called Canvas. Canvas is one of the newer Google Gemini tools, and what it allows you to do is to create and edit documents in a Canvas sort of space, and then from there you can either save them directly into the Google ecosystem, so save it or export it as a Google document or a Google Sheet, save it to your Google Drive, or it could easily be copied and pasted or exported into Word documents or Excel, so on and so forth. So before I begin with my prompt, I'm going to make sure that I select that I am using the Canvas tool.
Blank. Out of edit clickable button deep research. Button Canvas.
Canvas.
Enter a prompt here. Edit multi-line. Ask Gemini.
And now I can go ahead and paste my prompt. And I'll go ahead and just tab over so you can hear the layout.
A structured doc. Recommendations for clickable open upload file menu button add files. Deep research button get in-depth. Canvas button create. Clickable send message button.
And I will send the message, which essentially is running our prompt.
Enter a prompt here. Edit multi-line. Gemini replied. Main landmark. Section multi.
Okay, so just that quickly, we've got our response from the prompt that I entered. So I'll read over it just a little bit with you all so we can see what we have here available in our Canvas. And also the great thing about Canvas is this, where I'm reading, is actually an editable space. So it's the same as working on a document inside of Microsoft Word or Notepad. Like I use a lot, literally as my Notepad. So I'll go ahead and just give this a quick
Scott Blank, Introduction. Scott Blank, Updates for the Sunrise Marketing Campaign. It provides actionable updates for the Sunrise Marketing Campaign. It identifies key challenges and this document analyzes the current process for managing weekly progress. This document analyzes the current process for managing weekly progress updates for the Sunrise Marketing Campaign. It identifies key Scott Blank updates for the Sunrise Marketing Campaign. It identifies key challenges and provides actionable recommendations for improvement, leveraging AI tools and strategies, particularly within the Google Workspace ecosystem, to enhance efficiency and effectiveness. Current situation analysis. The current process for weekly campaign updates involves a 1-hour video call where team members provide verbal updates. The campaign lead then spends an additional 30 to 45 minutes compiling these updates into a Google Doc. This process presents several challenges. List bullet time-consuming. The combined meeting documentation is significant. Inconsistent updates. Links needed for difficult action item track. Challenging to effectively track and manage information gaps during the meeting. Meeting focus. Meetings can sometimes deviate into broad, detracting from the core purpose of providing
I would say it's editable. I can't move by headings. This is actually an editable document, so let's just
Following AI-powered recommendations are prepared.
we can get to the recommendations, which I think is coming up here because the document just goes over a brief summary and then provides recommendations. That's just what I asked for in this prompt. Again, this prompt is a template prompt, so it can be editable to anything that you want or desire, but here's what we have for demo purposes.
Google Workspace and Jemenai. List pre-meeting structured updates with Google Forms/Docs.
Yes.
List instead of relying solely on verbal updates, implement a system where team members submit their weekly updates in a structured format before the meeting.
Right. So we see here, this document is now starting to get into suggestions, and it'll also go into planning because this is very much a project management document. Now that my prompt has generated this document here,
Scott Blanks put in waiting room alert.
For me, what I should easily be able to do is now exit this text field, because technically this is what this is, and then locate a button to be able to copy this text. I'm going to just throw it into a Word document so that I can save it for my purposes on my computer. I say shoot. We'll
Scott Blanks has out of section button close panel.
So we're out of that section as we heard.
Scott Blank button copy.
And there's the button for copy. There's a couple of other buttons up
button
here.
Export to docs.
Export to docs.
Button export to docs. Button copy. Button share canvas.
You can even share the canvas with someone so that they can edit it, but also they can continue the conversation and the query here with Jemenai AI. We have tons of options.
Button copy. Button copy.
But I will copy it.
Copied to clipboard. Start window. Search. Oh. Word. Jemenai. Google Chrome window. Jemenai document. Button copy. Jemenai miscellaneous. Jemenai. One reminder. Jemenai work miscellaneous. Zoom workplace column. Zoom workplace window.
Or we'll just
start window. Search window. Search box. T. Notepad. App. Press. Notepad. Untitled. Notepad. Text editor document.
So blank here, and then I can go ahead and give a paste.
Spelling error title, streamlining weekly campaign updates for the Sunrise Initiative introduction this.
And there's our text there and available for us to share, save, do whatever with it as we will. Now we've just streamlined for ourselves a work process and made that happen really quickly.
6,500 and blank. Desktop list.
Okay. Oh. All right. So now that yes.
We are getting close to time here.
Not a problem.
Can we pause here and take a couple of questions?
Sure.
All right. So again, we're going to start with a couple of questions. We're going to have a couple of questions, and we'll start on Zoom. Is there anyone on Zoom who has any questions that they'd like to ask?
Yeah, this is Marlon. I have a question.
Yes.
Go ahead, Marlon.
Okay, yes. Sun mentioned about the prompts, the comparison of the pattern matching technologies versus the transformer technology. I've noticed in the past, when you use the search engine in Google, is much more easier and quicker. It's like you can find a pin in a haystack. Today, I think the pattern matching has expanded so much. There's so many topics that is irrelevant. And I'm wondering if this transformer technology is similar to it as well.
I'll take that. It's well, what's
From Roberto
going.
Gonzalez to
Oh, hello. So what's going to happen with search moving forward, and Google is definitely integrating this, is they are going to integrate AI to better filter, I guess, is what they're going to more or less do. It wouldn't make sense to uh do the guessing aspects of it by just generating. As of now, they do that through your news snippets. Sometimes they do that summary when you do that search, and they used to take it from the metadata, and now they're trying to AI generate it, but they still give you that notification that check if it may be incorrect. And it's because it's again guessing the information. Now the new technology that's going to be they're using is not only just transformer, but they're going to leverage memory bank in order to make sure that the information that they have is checked out. Now, how they're going to leverage that, that's going to be not sure exactly how they will implement it, but from my understanding that Google is definitely going to be using episodic and more entity in their memory bases into their holding their information. Now, you did mention, yes,
Lighthouse has
they did do pattern matching, and they to very real extent they do it now, and they call it heuristic. The best probable, likely, contextual pattern matching, if you will, to get what you want. And yes, I do notice that search has definitely gotten a little muddled.
Scott
But especially with ads and whatnot, got a lot of cluttering. So yeah, it's gonna get better, and a native Google AI is on the way. Whether it is good or bad, let's wait to see.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, Son. Anyone here in the room, does anyone have any questions? Asanda, okay. Let me get a microphone to you. Give me a second.
Hi, my name's Asanda. I just had a question because so when I've asked for something from AI, in the responses, it will often do that star symbolism, and I always ask it to strip it out in its responses to me. But I was curious about how to use that in my prompts and where and why and how and what.
Honestly, the way that the stars find their way into my prompting is because I'm using my own knowledge and requests of AI to build my prompts, and then AI will automatically write the prompt in the organized language that makes the most sense for it. So it kind of automatically puts it there. However, if you wanted to utilize it yourself in prompting, think of asterisks or multiple asterisks as taking the place like a quotation mark or parentheses. So we are putting things that we want AI to pay specific attention to in between a set of asterisks on a single line. That should help.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
I'd like to add a little to that. So you, just to see if I understand correctly, you're saying that when it responds to you, it's giving you those asterisks and you're wondering why it does that and how to take them out?
No, I'm just saying that I noticed that it does
Oh,
it,
okay.
and I ask it to take it out, but I'm curious how I can expand my ability to ask
Yeah.
questions to it
Mhm.
via using those. So
Yeah, okay,
yeah.
perfect.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. Hello?
You can hear you.
Okay. So with that, we're going to move on to our third speaker, and this is one of our own here at the Lighthouse. His name is Ethan. Ethan, take it away. Julie, I think your screen is still sharing.
So, first of all, I want to confirm that while I'm sitting here in front of everybody in the room, am I visible to you on Zoom while I'm sitting, or do I need to move to the podium so everybody can see? If that's needed. With that response, I'll go ahead and assume I'm visible to everyone. My name is Ethan Mangs. I work here at the Lighthouse. Just to give you a little brief background of who I am and what I'm about. My path has started in Southern California with a youth program. Here as assistive technology instructor. Moved into the IT department. Now I'm back in programs as a senior director of vocational training. Right now, what I'm going to offer today is kind of tying Sun and Thule and what their pieces do and how they support folks on a actually on the job basis, right? And Thule and Sun, thank you. You did a great job, and we appreciate you and the information that you provide. So, you know, how does all this relate to being in the workplace, interacting with colleagues, actually applying it in a way that is tangible for an individual, right? We all know that AI has various applications and functions and features that are very helpful to us as low vision and blind individuals, or as I term everyone else, mouse users, right? So for me on a daily basis, when I'm managing the team, having meetings, similar to what Sun and Thule are presenting, which is I have so many emails coming into my inbox every day. I have so many notes I have to take. I have calendar appointments I have to keep. Tracking all of that thing with a screen reader versus a scroll wheel and a mouse click can be very challenging on a day-to-day basis. right? So I'm going to be looking at how I utilize Copilot in a E5 or Microsoft Office E5 license basis for Copilot. Where I find it most useful on a daily basis is to simply manage email, assist in drafting documents, and just quickly gaining access to summaries. For everybody in the room, we're sitting on a platform right now that provides an AI feature that is absolutely wonderful if you're trying to track action items in those 12 different meetings you have every day. Zoom AI is a feature and functionality that can be enabled. Mute your computer. Mute my computer. My mic. So when we're looking at Zoom AI and enabling that functionality, the
Is this better? No.
All right, back to where I was. So the Zoom AI functionality provides a very good way for folks to track action items in a meeting, all of the things that allow us to make sure that we're holding ourselves accountable, our colleagues accountable, and we're meeting the objectives. In Copilot, I primarily focus on emails use. So I'm going to go ahead and just move into a real quick demonstration of how I utilize it on a daily basis. And I'm going to be doing this from my desktop using Outlook Classic because that's my preferred path. So let me go ahead and just pull something up and start a screen share. All right. So Alt-S. And then I'm going to select whole screen. And I'm going to select share my sound, optimize for video. And here we go. And there we are. So now you can see my desktop. I'm going to go just quickly into my Outlook. And everything you see is privileged, so please don't share. And here we are. All right. So now when I'm in my Outlook and say I get a response, an email, where did it go? There it goes. So I want to go to, let's just go ahead and find an email that needs a response here. All right, connect to the server. Let's take a look at this one. So there's two ways I can do this. I can start drafting my email. So I can put in the word thanks or just give it a basic understanding of what my response is. So something like, I want you to respond to all the items brought up in a positive and supportive way, and see what happens. So let me go ahead and just type in, I don't know. What do you mean unavailable? Come on. Got it. Actually start to respond first, so that would help. Here we go. All right. So ping. Please outline that I. Thank the.
I'm not getting the screen reader. Does anyone else hear it?
When I'm typing, it doesn't appear to be coming through. Let me see. So I've typed that basic prompt into the window. I'm going to go Alt H, F, X, and D. And that brings me into the Copilot draft prompt, where it has defaulted the text I typed into my email into the field. So I'm going to go ahead and just tab to the generate button and hit enter. And the first thing I hear is AI generated content may be incorrect. So please review, right? Hi, and its response to using no name is hi recipient. I hope you're doing well today, and I want to express my sincere gratitude for your support. Your expertise and willingness is, so it goes on to create a very well-worded, articulate, and pointed response to the individual. And I did that all in about 30 seconds, whereas drafting something that length and complexity from my brain to the computer to the send would probably be more like 5 to 10 minutes of time. And at this point, I can tab to anything you would like to change. So there's a field where I can literally say add, remove, delete, change, etc. As far as the prompt is provided. Right now, I don't really want to edit that. I'm just going to tab again and go to keep the generated text, right? And now that that's done, and my email is ready to send off. And that email is responded to and done. Right now, I'm going to go back, close this out. And I did hear the commentary, so I'll take a moment here to see if I can't get the JAWS running.
I'm sorry. I'm trying. I would like to learn this and see it. That's why I said that.
No worries. It should have been checked.
Would
Share
be in the
sound,
background,
check.
but that was it.
Sharing sound mode. What? That's new.
Yeah, that's stereo or mono.
Yeah. Let's go to screen. And then
Screen share. Press F6 to switch between open Zoom windows.
Got it. There you go.
The video thumbnails are minimized to
I'm going to pull down the volume on the. Thank you.
Participants can now see your screen.
All right. I think that'll be a little bit better. And let me go ahead and demo that second half. I'm going to use the same path and process, but I'm not going to pre-write anything. I'm just going to prompt via the edit field. I want to respond in a positive way that covers all the points in the email. So
Task switching. Untitled dash message left parent HTML right parent. To move to an item, press the FW : left bracket lighthouse for the blind and visual. Escape. Untitled dash message left escape. Microsoft Outlook dialog. Alt N. One reminder left parent as right parent. Escape. Inbox dash e-mics at lighthouse stat unread. Ethan Mics FW applicate context met quick print 2 of 2. Send the item direct escape. Leaving menus list box Ethan Mics FW. Control Shift R. Read : left bracket lighthouse for 1.10 inches. Tat blank.
All right. So we're going to do Alt H.
Alt upper ribbon expanded.
F,
X.
X,
Group
D.
draft with cleaving menus. Copilot draft. Draft prompt edit. What do you want this email to say? Type in text. P-L-E-A-S-E space R-E-S-P-O-N-D space C-O-V-E R-I-N-G space A-L-L space I-T-E-M-S space A-N-D space U-S-E space A space P-O-S-A-T-I-V-E space A-N-D space T-A-N-K-S S space space F-U-L space T-O-N-E. Please respond covering all items and use a positive and thankful tone. Generate button. Generate draft. To activate, press space bar. Enter. Creating a draft. Stop button. To activate, press space bar. Generated draft. Edit. Read only. AI-generated content may be incorrect. Contains text. Use your reading keys to read the text. Blank. I hope you're having a great. Top. Hi Aaron. Blank. Top. Hi Aaron. Hi Aaron. Blank. I hope you're having a great day. I saw your message regarding the issue you're experiencing with your inbox. It sounds frustrating not being able to see your emails, but don't worry, I'm here to help. Blank. To move your emails back to your inbox, follow these steps: 1. Go to the deleted items using Ctrl+Y. 2. Select the email you want to move by using the arrow keys and hitting the space bar. 3. Hold down the Control key while you arrow to the other messages you want to move and keep holding Control as you hit the space bar on each email you want to select. Leanne has left the meeting. 4. Once the emails you want are selected, hit the Applications key left parent, third key to the left of your space bar right parent. 5. Hit the letter M or arrow down to move and hit Enter. 6. A list of folders will open. Arrow to the folder you want the emails moved to and hit Enter. Blank. I hope this helps. If you still have trouble or need further assistance, feel free to call me at 206-850-8886. Thank you. Blank. Best regards, Ethan Mikes. Ethan Mikes.
So in that short prompt that I gave it, it read through, it sifted through the string, pulled out the relevant items,
Roberto Gonzalez has left the meeting.
Focused on the tone I asked it to have. And all I have to do now, if that's what I want to do, after I proofread.
Rewrite instructions, edit anything you'd like to change, type in text.
Here, let's change
T-A-A-E space O-U-T space E-R-I-N apostrophe S space N-A-M-E.
I'm simply going to type in, take out Aaron's name.
Generate button. Rewrite your generated text with Copilot. To activate, press space bar. Enter. Creating a draft. Stop button. To activate, press space bar. Generated draft. Edit. Read only. AI-generated Best regards. Blank. Top. Hi. Blank. I hope you're having a great day.
And now if we notice there, it did not, it simply removed Aaron's name from the beginning. So I can make my edits and changes that way, or I can simply go
Rewrite instructions, edit anything you'd like. Keep button. Keep the generated. Enter. Copilot draft kept. Edit.
And then that adds
Top.
it
Hi.
automatically to my email,
Blank.
and I can edit it as I would a Word document or an Outlook email that I'm normally sending. So I find this very useful in increasing my ability to handle large volumes of email very quickly.
Raised hand.
And helping to increase my own ability to manage my tone and focus on being more straightforward and immediate with what I'm asking, how I'm phrasing things. There's so many things you can do with it. The main thing I find it useful for is enabling me to do more faster. And in summary options with Copilot, you can also capture action items. You can, main themes of 45 to 2-hour meetings and so on and so forth. It just generally allows you to track what you're doing, how you're doing it, and who you're doing it with more effectively, better balancing and equaling out the playing field. Does that make sense? Everybody's nodding, right?
I heard all the nods.
7:16 p.m.
I don't want to take up all the time, but as far as a practical application, I really, really enjoy Copilot and all of these AIs that are being talked about and shared. First of all, I want to highlight that every single presenter you had tonight is low vision or blind. And that in and of itself tells you its usefulness, right? If we find it valuable, it's got some value. There are concerns. The privacy is always something that we want to think about. So we just want to inform ourselves and read and all of those things. But generally the main theme regarding AI is it's yet another tool that can assist us in balancing out the playing field and being more competitive in the workforce, being more productive with our colleagues, and just generally moving through the environments we exist in a little bit more smoothly. And with that, I'll throw it back to Fernando.
Thank you, Ethan, for that wonderful presentation. It showcases how it could take something that would have taken a lot of thought, a lot of a lot of time, basically, to generate, right? And you can use these as drafts, right? So it'll, if you, for example, get that generated text from Copilot and you're like, I like it, but it's not exactly what I wanted. Well, at least you have a starting point, and you're able to, from there, make the edits that you need to before you send off that email. And just the amount of things you're able to do with it. I mean, we could spend hours talking about days
Oh, yes.
about the capabilities that these products have, especially products like Gemini when it comes to the Google workspace and Copilot when it comes to Microsoft Office. It's just incredible how well integrated these tools are. And Ethan showcased Outlook, but you can use this in all the other Microsoft apps as well, and it's equally as useful. So thank you, Ethan, for that. And with that, I'd like to open it one last time for questions. Ask questions of any of the relating to any of the presentations that we've done, or anything in general relating to the topic of increasing productivity in the workplace. So with that, anyone on Zoom with any questions?
Yeah, this is Marlon again. How much is the Copilot? Is it free or does it have to be purchased?
So there are different versions. There are free versions that you can get on iOS or the Windows machines. There are paid versions. It depends on your budget. The main thing to consider is that as all for-profit companies do, you get what you pay for as far as features and functionality, right? And
so
that's a pure.
So
go ahead.
What you're saying here, there's different level of programming sophistication. The more sophisticated, the more costly it is.
Typically, but not always. And if anybody has more detailed thoughts on that, they can share them. But that's my understanding is there. It's a kind of a tiered system. You have access to basic features and functionality with free versions. When you buy a Office license, you get a little bit more functionality. When you buy a Office E5, E3, a little bit more professional licensing, so on and so forth.
Okay, thank you.
So I'd like to add on to that. So the term, the name Copilot is a name, actually. It's a brand that they branded Copilot. And essentially what it is, it's an assistant, it's an agent, an AI agent here. And you'll be hearing about agents from moving forward if you haven't heard it today. And that is the new industry word, agent or agentic. Basically, what that means is the AI takes action for you. Like it will actually correct code, correct emails, correct your sheets, and it won't just tell you what corrections need done, but take that action for you. And you can have it automatically approve it, or just for you to review, and then you can manually approve it, what have you. The older way is you go to a ChatGPT platform there. You stick in, paste in the text you want or some instructions, and it will give you instructions on how to achieve what you want to do. So Copilot, that being said, there are several companies that offer that style of assistant. Copilot being one. If you're deep into code, like I myself, You can find a lot of nice free projects on GitHub, and they have Copilot-like systems that you can integrate into your workspace. But that takes more work and that takes more setup, and it's free, and there's benefits with that, such as privacy. You use your local language model on your computer. Um, and you don't have to have internet to use the large language model. As it stands currently with Copilot or ChatGPT desktop, Perplexity desktop, all of that requires that you have an internet connection because it's working from their servers, which is their cloud. And then one more level higher than assistant, and you'll again hear this as it will be the new industry standard coming down the pipeline in the AI world, if you will, is full agentic um, agents, meaning they will, you tell them something rough and they will go out and figure it out what needs to be done in order to get it completed. For example, you can literally say, get me a report on the population of mammals. Just that, and then you'll have these agents auto spin up. They have multi-agents, if you will. Some will do research online, some will do the programming, some will do the writing, and they all come together to form a report for you that can be very extensive, or it can go and build a website for you if you need it. It will literally go out and program all that for you. So,
Is it?
Copilot is just the assistant now. There's many names out there like Klein, like Claude even has a code assistant. Google has a code assistant. So it's if you want it well integrated into your Office suite, that's going to be your Copilot. If you want it more wide and more broad in general, then you go for the other ones.
Thank you, son. Thank
Yeah.
you. A wonderful question. Anyone in the room? Does anyone have any questions here in the room? Nicole, I'll get you a mic. Yeah. Test. Nicole?
Thank you. With the Copilot model, so what I do is I load like all of my files, because I use mainly predominantly ChatGPT. And so I actually create my own GBTs, and so I load everything into it. And so I was wondering if with Copilot, if you could do something similar, so it does have to pull from that information source if you were doing something like highly specific.
Well, I would take that one, Fernando, except I'm the dumb boss that just uses it for my own practical applications.
I can answer
I
that if
literally
you'd like.
just feel free.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sure. So what you're what you're referring to is something called RAG, which is retrieval augment generation. And that's just a fancy phrase meaning you are using your own data to train the model on on your own content. So the big difference being like, let's just say you uploaded something specifically about Cheshire cats, and your specific experience with Cheshire cats, and that isn't found online or not found easily. So if you did not upload your data and you asked a question about Cheshire cats, it's likely going to go out and give you what it knows about Cheshire cats and nothing specific to your experience. So with Copilot, you can definitely do that, but not in the way you may think, where you upload it, then the LLM does a process called embedding, which is they take that data and they put it into its database so it chunks it up so it can see your data. Now, basically, Copilot, it looks at your stuff already. You do stuff based on your own content, like what Ethan demonstrated. It took the content that it already has and it worked off of it. I'll give you another example. I use Copilot with VS Code, and VS Code is an editor, a code editor, and
Mhm.
I either open up my existing code base already that I have. I do that by, application, open, more options, and then you open in code. And when you do that, you can then enable the extension, Copilot extension, and it will look basically on your content.
Nice. That thank you. That explained it. And then if anybody in the room is using the Chat GPT on the iPhone, they broke it, so you can't copy paste anymore.
Oh
But if you
no.
do the voiceover command for I think it's the 3-finger quadruple tap, you can just copy the text that way.
Yeah.
But that happened like last week, and there's a really good Facebook group, AI for the Blind, and
Oh
that's where
yeah,
I get a lot of information from.
I used to also was be one of that. I provide a lot of content there. Um, uh, with when you use ChatGPT, do you only use that on that only? Do you expand out to other brands?
She's saying she uses them all.
Oh, okay. Oh, good,
That's
good.
awesome. Awesome. Thank you for your question. And Sun, thank you.
Yeah.
We check it out. All right. And is there, what was that? Yeah. Is there any really quick last minute question on Zoom? We are
Sheila Gunn has had her hand up
just
for a
about
minute.
Sheila, go ahead. About a minute. Sheila. Are you there, Sheila?
All right,
Okay.
is this now working? I
There
must
you
have
go.
I must have unmuted it earlier and forgot about that. Anyway, I wanted to know which AIs are best at compiling your own data that you've given them, like about your writing style or your interests or your things like that, and how best to use and leverage that for your own stuff to sound better through AI.
That's a good question. I could take that. So
Go ahead, Sun.
there's you're right in saying that different models output differently and their capabilities are different as well. Not all models are created the same, although they do try to compete with each other and outdo each other in the language arena. But the as of today, the latest now that can change day by day, and that's how fast it moves. What I tell you today will literally be obsolete in about a few days if something comes out. So just bear that in mind. ChatGPT 4.5, and that's their latest model. Claude 3.7, that's the Sonnet, that's the highest model there. Those produce the most human-like non-AI content. For comparison, Claude 3.7 is about 0.9% AI content. So that's less than a percent. Comparatively speaking, GPT 4.0 is about 19% AI. So 4.5 brings it down to about 9% AI generated content. And when I say that, you can put it through an AI tester or another language and ask it, does it sound like AI, or what percentage of this may sound like as if it would be written by AI. So another one definitely to play with is the Google 2.5, the Pro. Just go to aistudio.google.com and that too will also be among the top in terms of human sounding contents. So the ones that are good with other tasks, like if you need something done, image generated, definitely other models such as Gemini is really good at it. Um, do not use Dolly, which is GPT's version, Dolly 3, I think. It's not up to par at all. If you know, if you're able to use ideogram, that's ideogram.io, is another one that also generates great image and writing on that image. So with that, in terms of code, if you're wanting to generate a chart or some kind of program, then Claude 3.7 would be better. GPT o3 Mini High is better with coding. Notice I didn't even say 4.5. That's only for pros. That's not even all that great for coding. So those are going to be basically your top popular ones. Claude is going to be among the top usually. That is going to be quite expensive if you use APIs. But if you pay monthly, you don't mind pasting and downloading, then it's quite reasonable. My last one I'd say would be Perplexity. Perplexity I didn't put up there is because it's very versatile. You can select few models. Claude 3, Sonnet 3.7 is there. You can select that. You can also select 4.5, excuse me, ChatGPT. But there's usage limits, and it's just, so if you have it, it's great. And one last thing I'd mention is Uber had a great deal last year in October. They offered whoever was a member or rider of the Google Plus or that annual subscription, you'd get a free annual Perplexity subscription.
All right. That was a lot of excellent information. Thank you, Sun. And that was a very good question as well. So with that, we are at time. So I'd like to say to everyone, thank you very much for coming today. Thank you for coming to our fourth installation of AI Odyssey. Our next presentation will be on April 30th, and it will be focused on autonomous vehicles. This is going to be it's going to be a departure from apps and things of that nature. We're going to talk about artificial intelligence, but in vehicles that drive themselves. So I'm really excited about our AI Odyssey installation on April 30th. We hope to see all of you here for that one, either virtually or in person. And with that, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, and that is very important. There will be gifts for those who come in person. You'll possibly be able to get something if you come in person to this event. So looking forward. Again, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.